Now, when I heard about Oculus, I was somewhat interested. Mike Flanagan has put out some amazing shows and films that I absolutely love, but the idea of a haunted mirror sounded very basic to me. Like, it didn't really intrigue me too much. But then I watched the movie, and Oculus is not just about a haunted mirror. I like this movie a lot. I don't know if that was because I didn't expect what I was going into, or it's just because I liked the movie a lot. Anyway, let's talk about Oculus. Now, when I say Oculus isn't about a haunted mirror, I am somewhat wrong. It is about a haunted mirror, but in my opinion, there's a lot more to the movie. The main characters are brother and sister, and both were in a very traumatic event, with their father going crazy and hurting their mother. This left a lot of pain and trauma to them, with the brother character needing to go to an asylum or whatever to get mental help. It drifted them apart for years, but eventually they met again. But basically, when they were kids, they made a promise. Now, the thing is, when they were kids, they believed that the mirror in their house caused it, and the sister character has been setting up a way to destroy it for years. Now, after the brother got mental help, he basically stopped believing in that factor, but his sister never did. And now it's time for them to destroy it. But the thing is, the brother couldn't care. He wants to move on from his trauma, from his past life, and do something new. While the sister is very much still obsessed with it. What by itself is quite intriguing, but then the argument happens. The brother character, Tim, says that the reason they believed it was the mirror was because they couldn't believe what their father had done. They had to make up a ghost as a reason for it, to deal with the trauma and pain of it all. And that's something I'm really intrigued by itself, the idea of someone creating a ghost, basically, to handle their own pain. But the sister character doesn't believe that. The sister is determined to prove that it's the mirror doing this. And for a bit of the film, it is that. It is the sister trying to prove that the mirror is haunted. And I like that idea also. It's something I could watch for an entire film even. But that isn't all of this film. Because then comes the more horror element. aka the real horror of this movie, and it's not a haunted mirror.
Nice.
the mother begins to play with their memories, with what's real or not. And this goes to part of the real horror of this movie, is the fact you cannot tell what is real or not. The idea of not knowing if you can trust your own memories. And I love this part of me because the whole beginning of the film is a setup towards this. The idea of the characters arguing over what actually happened or not, to then become, oh, did this happen or not in the actual world. They cannot tell if the horror they are facing in the movie is real or not.
Pointed. The kids at school who always found out. Guess I'm talking to everyone who ever called Dad a murderer. Called you a murderer.
Look, Kaylee, we were just kids. We made up a scary story so we wouldn't have to accept the fact that our father was a murderer. He was. He was a sick man who tortured and killed our...
The apple scene. The scene where a character believes they're eating an apple to realize they're eating a light bulb to then realize they're eating an apple. That is horrifying and amazing. The scene is done great, and the realization of what the character has done while also realizing it wasn't true in the first place, in my opinion, is great. Another thing this movie does is it will have flashbacks. It will cut to the past. Now, this is to slowly build up to what happened to the father and mother. And in my opinion, I don't really like flashback scenes in horror too much, because you always know the main characters are going to make it out alive. The tension and suspense kind of disappears. But this film somehow made it work, in my opinion. Near the end of the movie, the past kinda begins to merge into the present day, as the characters' memories and mind begin to go more insane. It's to a point that the characters in past easily could just be the characters in the present day. The actual film messes with your memory a bit, as certain events could be the present day. It's just, oh, you thought that was the past. I really love that. It makes the tension of the past scenes a lot more suspenseful, because the actual characters in that scene are now at risk of actually dying, and it becomes a threat. The actual thing in the past becomes something dangerous and something you as an audience are worried about. Now, before I keep going on just complimenting this movie, I don't think it's 100% perfect. There's obviously some flaws in the movie, what I'll talk about. I think certain scares don't work that well. It's just some jump scares in the film just don't work or come off a little bit goofy. I think that's because the effects for some of the ghost characters just don't look good anymore. Was sad, but it's, in my opinion, true. I think the ending to the movie isn't too good. And what I mean by it, I don't mean the build up to the ending. I mean like the full on ending of the brother getting put in the police car. I think the sister's death is done really well and some other stuff, but the whole, the brother gets arrested and sees like the ghost members of his family just doesn't work in my opinion. I don't know why. Again, it might be because the effect for the ghosts can look a bit silly, but yeah, it just didn't work in my opinion. But I will understand, like, it might have worked better with better effects and stuff. Visually, the film also looks really nice. I was a bit worried it was going to go into that territory of, oh, night scenes are extremely difficult to see in, but no, you can, like, the night scenes are done well and everything looks very nice. The two main characters are really good in my opinion, both are very interesting, but the sister, Kaylee, I believe, yeah, Kaylee, she's very obsessed with the trauma from her past and the mirror. I find that extremely intriguing because she is technically the reason the events of the film happen. She's the one who sets up everything and she's the one who finds the mirror again. All because she made that promise with her brother to destroy it, and that basically became her life at the moment. Everything she's done really was always set up to try and destroy the mirror, and that's really intriguing. I really like how it's done. I like how her brother Tim is very much the counterpart to that. He wants to move on from that trauma and he wants to try and go somewhere else, and both are very they're aggressive with each other, but Tim is also understanding why his sister acts like this. To him, he was in that place, but he moved on. But obviously by the end of the film, he's right back where he was, in a cop car getting took away to somewhere for mental help.
Hello again.
This film I really liked a lot more than I was expecting to. And once again, like I said, that could be why I enjoyed it so much. I thought I was kind of going into a very basic horror movie, and in my opinion, this movie is a lot more than just basic. It's clearly talking about the idea of trauma and how it can affect someone, and how people can either move from that or become obsessed with it. It's also obviously talking about the fears of memory, and that some things that you thought you knew could be wrong, and that you can't trust your own memories a lot. I give this movie 5 stars out of 5. I really like it. That could maybe change on a rewatch, but in my opinion, I feel like on a rewatch you could maybe even notice more small details. I know Mike Flanagan likes doing that. He likes putting in little things you notice in the background. But yeah, I liked this movie, and yeah, it was fun, while also very intriguing. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then please like it. If you didn't, you can dislike it, that's completely fine. But yeah, that's all, and goodbye.